And now, everyone, I am very pleased. It's been a while since he's been with us. But returning once again, we have Cardinal Larson from the Archdiocese of the Seven Trusted Graces. Please give him your full attention. Thank you.
Thank you, Pastor Andrew, and thank you, Brother Reed. You're both truly men of the grace. I extend a hearty thank you to the entire congregation for showing me such kindness, hospitality, and anointed goose during my travels. I tell you, it's heartwarming to see your faith is strong enough to attend this midnight vigil. Okay. I'm seeing some of you yawning. Get to it, you're probably all thinking. All right. You guys are killing me. On to the first order of business, and I'll be quick. There's some new rules passed out from the Archdiocese. Okay, some of you are really yawning here, but I encourage you to remember that the congregation pivots on a foundation of rules intended to better the community as a whole and keep them hardy, true to their deeds, and salivating for righteousness, right? Okay. All right, so first rule, even though I hate calling it that, now all parishioners are required to bring their own greases to the services, okay? Right now, I know what you're saying, this one's not new. However, we've had some complaints lodged by the, I won't name any names here, it's the old people who asked for this one. The older ones, the old blue hairs. You see, they were wondering if maybe we could mildly heat up the grease before we anoint them. You see, we got too many elderly people coming down with illnesses after having their heads wiped with these cold oils during the sacrament of the gooey goose. Several of them died. Yeah, they go home, they don't take care of themselves, they're old, so they get sick, it's cold, and these, you leave a window open, you die at that age. But, they say it's the grease, so let's just heat it up from now on. What do you say? All right, now for the last one, which, it's more of a guideline than a rule. Woo! I bet you're all thinking, get on with it. The other ones are thinking, I'll be quick. I know, I don't want to be here either. So what we need is every parishioner is encouraged. Now, encouraged, not required to, save their browns, waste, and oily goose in buckets for safekeeping. Now, for the Book of Lustful Horseboys states, we know not the day or time that we shall be held accountable for our hot greases and bold stinks. That's paragraph 4's line, I don't know. Now I know what you're thinking. Now I gotta go out and buy a bucket for each of my family members? No, you don't. You think you would, but you don't. Mr. and Mrs. Corbingland, you guys are gonna, you got a bad name. So I might mess it up, but I'm gonna try and say it the right way I can. But it's just like $50 and you fill out a paper and you get a new name. But Mr. and Mrs. Cornbingshansmiths, that's the best I'm gonna do, have been nice enough to donate a barrel to every family after their son Corbling the barrel maker. Oh, this is a sad story. I forgot about this. He hung himself in the farmhouse. Yeah, his freaking eyes were bulging, and his face was purple, his tongue swollen, his pants were. He shit and pissed himself, and he didn't have a bucket, and it was a mess. It was a disaster. You see, he did it. I don't know, I shouldn't get into too many details because it's your family's deep secret, but he did it because he fucked a dog. And he screwed a dog. I'm sorry, I don't want to curse here in front of kids. He screwed a dog, and he had, shame, And now, like most of us, you screw a dog, you realize the dog likes it. You go out with your day, you go out, you get some cheeseburgers, something. Their kid killed himself. But now we got a bunch of barrels. So everyone gets a free barrel, and, most of the barrels, they already got a little brown in it. So you won't feel weird being the first one to brown a barrel. I know I don't like a fresh barrel. So, just everyone gets a barrel. You hand it out to your kids. And you just gotta, the hard part is you gotta stop using the toilet. And you think that Why would I save my poo-poos, my doo-doos, my pee-pees? But the thing is, if you don't save it, then you don't believe in God. So thank you, Mr. and Mrs. Cornblink Shan Schmitz. I said it right, for your generous donation. And we apologize that your kid killed himself brutally and you found him. Anything else, Your Royal Highness? I see your face, Mr. Glass Hands. That's it. Oh, now we're waking up because it's over. You guys are so predictable. Listen, my travels have brought me far and wide. And I've met some characters along the way. You believe me, it has been a nutty ride being Cardinal Larson. I'm going to get to the cat in a second. It warms my heart and heats my greases when dutiful parishioners around this archdiocese remind me of the tales brought to us by Saint Sinhan's the Luster of Gugu and the Blessed Carolant of the Precious Tightstick. A few weeks ago, I'm at this nearby church. Some of you probably heard of it. It's Our Lady of Grippers. It's not even 18,000 miles from here. I was weary, like Saint Liquor of the Sacred Shared Bed. Dinkhammer Rottenham, the mechanic. He was kind enough to welcome me into his home. The Rottenmans, they're a meek family. Their skin hangs from their knobby bones, for they dutifully fast 364 days each sun year in honor of our Lord. Are you kidding me? I see your faces. You think I'm freaking lying to you. It's the truth. These people are weird. I swear, hand to the book of oily documentation. In their tiny house, no furniture, but a familial bed. Listen, in their house, their house is shitty. It's bad. They got a bad house. It's not even really a house as much as it's like a loosely constructed gazebo with a bed in it and nothing else. It's a big bed, but when it's the only thing you got other than a roof and 4 sticks holding up the roof, it's pretty sad. But the father plies his thankless trade every day to provide for this family. And their only joy, the only thing that brings this stupid, sad, skinny, near-dead family any happiness is their calico cat, Bipler. I know, bad name. What are you gonna do? It's the only thing they got. Bipler, surprisingly fat. He eats dust and dirt off of the ground because the animals left this part of the earth years ago. There's no bugs, there's nothing. It's just these people, they live. It's like the freaking Dust Bowl. You get sad when you see this kind of stuff. Little kid doesn't even have a crutch. He uses the bones of his sister. I can't even. As it happens, I was there one day. The day they break their fast. I thought I was hungry after sustaining myself on the road with only bird beaks and spiders. But when I saw this family before me, I realized I have not known true hunger. Alas, so meek are they. They served me first. They gave me the finest grease. Mrs. Rottenman might only cook once a year, but I'll be darned if it wasn't the tastiest, saltiest, smelliest goo that's ever been inside this big old belly of mine. I ate greedily, smacking my lips and licking the bowl. Bipler stared at me with her green eyes, envious of the greases. I ate with my hands so that I might sniff the oils beneath my nails later that night, and even to this day, I still raise my fingers to my nose and smell the ghost of the stench. They took my bowl, they thanked me for my company, disrobed as a family, their shame hanging at weird angles, and headed to bed even though the sun was still up. I said, "Will you not eat?" I screamed at them. I yelled, their ears bleeding. Mr. Rottenman smiled at me sadly. "We cannot eat, for the grease is gone." See, I misunderstood the family. That was a bowl to share, to break like powdered horse bread. I was so lustful in my hunger that I didn't think twice about sharing, as the letters from Greg the Impaler call from us. See? Even men of the cloth like me mess up every now and again. My face burned red with shame. But to be fair to me, it's kind of fucked up. The Rotmans didn't make it clear that the bowl was for sharing. Oh, sorry, kids, for the curse word, but so saith the Lord, may you swear with flatulent frequency when slighted by the nauseating poor. Alas. They slept on the cold ground after I demanded their bed for myself. The sun shining through the window, they pleaded with me to sleep in their bed, but I reminded them of the parable of the young man and the sweet boy, where the weary acolyte is called by the angel Grimp, the protector of the city of Loose Brown, to give up his bed to the traveler. Afterward, he dies in the night and is sent in a fiery pit of eternity for giving up his bed with a scornful heart. Listen, I'm rambling. Back to the story, Chief. All right, okay, Eric. Hey, I see you guys. You guys don't like me, and you know what? I don't care. Anyway, there I lay in the bed, heavy with guilt. I'll make it up to him. I promised myself. The sun will be setting. I knew I only had a few hours until midnight when their fast would begin anew. Think, Cardinal, think, I said to myself. Bipler climbed across my full stomach, sinking on my belly full of grease as if it were a waterbed. Bipler meowed extravagantly, as if beckoning me. Wait a minute, I thought. Bipler, stomach. Bipler, stomach. Ah! I hatched a scheme. The rotten mints would eat yet. I scooped up Bipler like the holy child of heavenly burps and caressed their beloved cat, their only joy. It purred in my hands contentedly, and with one sudden jerk, I gripped its tiny head and crushed its skull in my huge, dirty knuckled hands. It seized up like an old lady with a cold, greasy forehead, evacuated its waste, and died on the floor. The sun had set. It was hours to midnight. I rushed to the kitchen, holding the deceased Bipler by its tail, slammed it on the table, and reached into my sheath of knives, which I carry everywhere I go, and I skinned Bipler. I took my sewing kit and fashioned Bipler's skin into caps to cover the rotten men's heads were hairless from years of vitamin deprivation. I pulled out their pots and pans, lit a fire on the wood stove, and began cooking. So selfless was I that I took my pouch of sacred grease and sautéed the cat in holy oils, the house filled with acrid stench of cat meat. So nauseating was the aroma that the family woke up and staggered to the kitchen, holding back their vomitous burps, curious to see what I was up to. When Kimberly Rottenman, their emaciated daughter, saw what I did to her beloved cat, she screamed and threw up hot bile on the rotting dirt floor. Mrs. Rottenman let out a chunky burp and passed out face first, chipping her black old teeth. Mr. Rottenman charged at me, fists flailing and teeth gnashing. I had no choice but to overtake him, break his arms, and push his head into the raging stove. That had broken my heart. The ghost of Biplar here amongst us now. I had spent so much care cooking their cat, and they looked upon me with scorn. I stared at Mr. Rottenman's dead body, and for an instant I felt guilt. But it was then that I remembered the word of our Lord. If a man violently cometh upon you unjustified, so you may murder him without consequence. Without consequence. Let's remember those words. Without consequence. Well, I'll tell you, the authorities didn't see it that way. I was taken to prison where I was thrown in a cell with a burly, lustful men. I I'll spare you the details, but my pride was taken from me again and again and again and again and again until I liked it. They cared not I was a man of the cloth. They seemed to like that more about me. The next morning, I had to use all my wealth, 70 sacred marks, to pay bail and escape. I tell you, while on the road here, I reflected. Surely there's a lesson in this. After much thought, it came to me. Here's the lesson. The meek still want with devilish urge. Sacrifice not yourself into their greedy hands, for they will take and take and take and take. They're poor. And indeed, much was taken from me. All my money, which is why I now I humbly ask you to give me just a little bit of money.
Cardinal Larson.
Please.
Cardinal Larson.
Dear God. I need money.
Move on, sir.
I need it.
Larson, people are getting sick.
Please.
They're loosening out their stinks, and they have no barrels.
You don't know. You don't know how badly I need it.
Line with him in your back because he is known.
I'll do anything.
Violent.
Hey, I've already been through it. It won't even bother me. I'll do anything you need.
Any of the grease before it was consecrated, because you know what that
Fuck,
does.
my life is so fucking fucked up, man.
Fuck in front of a ton of children.
Brother Reed, Pastor Andrew.
Cardinal Larson, you gotta get off the stage.
No, I will not
Please,
leave.
I am begging
No!
you. You're
Oh,
sweating,
shit.
You're erect.
Oh, my
it's
shit.
troubling, It's
Go.
disgusting.
They're gonna
and
fucking
now
take me
there's
back to jail, man. You can't just take a priest and throw him in jail. They love that. Rip me apart and see the fucking inside of me. Help me. Help me. Do not touch me, Brother Reed. Do not.
And push his
God.
hands into the left
All right,
hand.
I'm gonna go.
Kick him in the
I'm gonna go.
back of him.
Knees until
I'm
they
gonna-
fall.